All right. Okay, we are broadcasting now. So this is Armin Navabi from Atheist Republic, and
Okay, hang on. Let me just. Okay, can you still hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Okay, after that little blip, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, go
Okay,
ahead
cool.
and introduce yourself.
Okay, hi. I'm Madia Ahmed, and I'm a Muslim.
All right. Well, there's more than that, right?
Yeah.
What
Yes.
else?
I work part-time in a medical library,
Okay.
and I want to be a playwright.
Okay.
But I also love to do activism stuff, or as I call it, artivism.
Why autism?
Artivism, it's a mixture of art and activism.
Ah, interesting. What?
So I volunteer for a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Hence where I met you at the conference of secularism and freedom of conscience.
Did you know it's going to be a bunch of heretics before you volunteered?
Well, yeah. The thing is, so I heard about Mariam Namazi about a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I was asked to kind of come to a drinks do that they did about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Which was in a secret location. So I didn't like, even that was kind of like, whoa, this is something kind of dodgy, man. Being told about the place on the day.
Yeah.
Not realizing that like a lot of threats have been given to this like particular institution and stuff.
Mm.
So
so
I tagged. Yeah, sorry.
Like safety issues.
Yeah, definitely safety issues and stuff. I mean, I didn't even know the extent of it until I went there, and my friends hadn't arrived when I reached there. And as soon as I entered, it was like everyone giving me dirty looks. It was just like, whoa. Like, I was like, I'm not going to kill you, I swear. You know?
Really? Give you dirty looks? That's nice.
Yeah, because it was kind of like, what the hell is this Muslim doing here? Because I'm wearing a hijab, and I come to this like ex-Muslims like drinks do just before Christmas.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the thing is, Mariam Namazi, like, I got introduced to her, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm a bit scared." And she goes, "Oh no, don't be worried. Like, you know, everyone's lovely here." And then she took me by the hand, and then like just introduced me to some people. And it's like I just kept in contact with those people. So yeah.
So why were you in? Why did you decide to go to volunteer for like an atheist event? Like what was your motivation?
So the thing is, a lot of I'm getting to know so from that drinks dude, the people that I got to know.
Yeah.
I got to know them further through a documentary that Zia Khan did on Islam's non-believers.
Yes.
Which was screened at the conference.
Right.
And oh my gosh, when I saw that, it broke my heart, because it was kind of like, this is 2017. The fact that people have their faces pixelated and they can't be true to themselves really hurt me. Because I was trying to put myself in their shoes, that, you know, if someone like threatened my life just because of the fact of like just because of my beliefs, I don't think I could handle that.
Yeah, but I mean, but there's also a lot of Muslims that are in danger for being Muslim, right?
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, it's on both sides. Yeah,
it's but you didn't care that if it's Muslim or not. You just felt like that these people need help and it's worth
Yeah, so basically I remember as well at the drinks do, there was this one girl who kind of stood out for me. I'm not going to name names, but she stood out for me because she was talking to Mariam, and she was just crying, and I don't know, my first instinct was to just go and hug her. Like she doesn't know who I am, I don't know who she is, but the fact that I saw her crying, just like really, and I just wanted to say to her, it's going to be all right. No matter what you're going through, it's going to be all right. That's all I wanted to let her know.
Okay. So when you get there, when you got dirty looks from atheists thinking like, what the hell is she's doing here,
Yeah.
do you think they were like, it was like you don't belong here, or like curious to why would you even want to be there? Like, which one do you think it is? Do you think it was kind of like bigotry as a little bit, or
I think it was kind of like, what the hell are you doing here?
like as in you
Like,
don't
but
belong here?
intrigued. Like they were a bit intrigued as well,
Okay.
but then a bit. I think automatically, because of the fact that they like faced a lot of threats, I think it was kind of like the defenses came up, which is understandable. It's understandable because,
But
yeah,
I would expect that from some atheists, but not ex-Muslims, because ex-Muslims grew up around Muslims. So for them to
yeah,
be
no,
like,
no, that's
"Oh,
true.
Muslim," that would be weird to me because their families are Muslim. Like, do they? Their brothers and sisters are Muslim. So it would be weird for me for ex-Muslims to have that reaction to Muslims, right? Well,
Yeah, you'd think that, but there was kind of this sense of paranoia as well because
mm,
it's actually with I experienced this in Oslo as well. Like it's not so much as with ex-Muslims, but it's actually like the Pakistani community. I can
right.
only say this from the Pakistani community. So a lot of people lead double lives in the sense that in front of their families they lead this like, oh, I'm a very good Muslim, blah blah blah. But then in the nighttime they go out clubbing and stuff. But then because a lot of the taxi drivers are like people they know, if they spot you outside a club, let's say, they'll take a photo and then send it immediately to their family and then
Uh,
get grassed on.
oh,
And so I don't know, it felt like me being there was that I'm going to grass these people up. Like,
oh,
do you get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
maybe it's a Pakistani, South Asian mentality thing that it's like you got to be wary of who you're around because you just don't know who knows who.
Yeah,
Sort of thing.
actually, you're right, because when I
Yeah.
go to like our secret ex-Muslims event, which ex-Muslims of North America facilitates, it's very,
Yeah.
you're told like, it, as soon as you take your camera, everybody's like, whoa, like what
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
like where is this going to
Exactly.
be posted, right? Because most of them are not out and open to their families that they
Yeah.
left Islam, right? But
Exactly.
so you mentioned to me that when you went there and you saw all these people like being hurt by Islam, you
Yeah.
kind of felt, what did you feel like? Like, do you feel like attacked, or did you feel like that they're holding you personally responsible, or did you think like, what?
At the conference,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at the conference, yeah, yeah, I felt a lot uncomfortable.
Okay.
But then on day one, right, there was like a lot of mention of, no, was it on day one? I don't know. Okay, so the panel that was about the veil, I was like, please hide me, because I felt like everyone looking at me, and I was like, oh,
You
sort
were
of
the
thing, because I
only
was like the
person
only
with the
visible.
hijab in the, like, we had.
Yeah,
You weren't the only Muslim in the conference, and but just to be clear, this is the conference, the largest
yeah,
ex-Muslim gathering in history that Mariam Namazi started, right? And you weren't
yeah.
the only Muslim in the conference, but you were the only
No,
hijabi in the conference, and the whole
yeah, yeah.
panel was about how evil and bad hijab is.
Exactly. So I was like, please hide me right now.
Right.
And I could feel like Dawkins kind of looking for me in the room as well, going, yeah, it's her fault. No, no, no. But it just, yeah, there was that made me very uncomfortable. But then also, I think the lady who worked for Charlie Hebdo,
Okay.
Zainab,
I forgot. I'm not good with.
yeah, when she was kind of like, look, listen, we're talking about Islamists and the Islam they follow, but let's be honest about it. It's the whole of Islam, and
Yeah.
I was like, please hide me as well. But then I did go and talk to her afterwards, kind of saying that, yeah, actually you kind of made me feel uncomfortable. Like, in a way, there was a kind of attack on progressive Muslims as well, in the sense that they're hypocrites because they're still following the framework of Islam. How can you be a feminist and be a Muslim? Like those sorts of questions. And in a way, I'm still dealing with those labels, and I want to be both of them. And that's the way I'm trying to live my life. Yeah.
You want to be both Muslim and feminist and fight for progressive values. You want to do all of that together.
Yeah. But then in turn, then I get questions like, but then you're disobeying God. And then I'm like, So those are the sorts of things I'm dealing with,
Right. So what did she say when you went to her and told her that?
No, she said, look, I've got friends that are Muslim, but she's just basically saying, look, how do we move that conversation forward?
Right.
That, let's be honest, it is like God says these things in the Quran, and like she's saying it, and I was like, yeah, I know you're saying that, but it doesn't. I go, but I choose to kind of ignore those bits and kind of focus on the positive and the love and the unity among us humans.
Well,
if that makes me a hypocrite, I don't know.
I mean, okay, so the way I try to look at it is that according to Islam, I'm being a hypocrite. I don't know if it's a hypocrite is the right word, but I'm actually denying the obvious, existence of a God, right? And I am, I all the signs are out there, and I'm ignoring them, right? So I'm ignoring, and that's what Islamic teaches. But I don't. What I try, and this is not easy. I understand this is not easy for a Muslim. It's easier for an atheist than it is for a Muslim, right? As an atheist, I usually say, well, I don't take that personally, right? Like I don't, just because that's a teaching of Islam, I don't think every Muslim is therefore personally attacking me for being Muslim, right? According to Islam, if you've read the Quran, I'm going to burn in hell forever, right? So I basically go to every Muslim and like, the God that you worship has mentioned many, many times in your book that I'm going to burn, right? But do I think that therefore every Muslim wants me to burn forever? Obviously not. Do you want me to burn forever? No. Right? So I try. Yeah, of course not. Right. But then I say, like, look, I'm not taking it personally. So if we say, well, Islam teaches this and this and this, and this is not compatible with progressive values, and somebody's like, well, I'm progressive and I'm Muslim, and this is an attack on me, and this is basically calling me a hypocrite, I should be able to say that without sounding like I'm like pinpointing you, right? Like but the problem is that it's easier for an atheist to do that, because atheism is not really part of my identity. It's just my view. And we tell Muslims that, well, Islam is just your view, but then we have to understand that for them it's not just their view, it's much more than that. Right?
Because it's a way of life.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. I think there's a little bit of echo. Maybe if I... No, it's okay. I think the audience will forgive us for the echo. You can hear me twice. That's fine. All right. So, no, I'm just saying that it's a way of life, but it's also part of who you are. Like, okay, so like if I'm a capitalist or a socialist, that's not a major part of my identity. That's just one of the many views I have, right? But when somebody says I'm a Muslim, that becomes for most of them, a major part of their identity. It's not just one of their opinions, right?
Yeah, and that's why people feel attacked. Like,
right.
So yeah, and they take it personally, which is what I think I'd learned to do in this conference, not to take it personally.
Okay.
Like, even though I want to just kind of curl up and hide and die because of some of the stuff that they were saying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, but they are right. Like, what do I do? Like, And then I'm like, God, are you gonna strike me with lightning because I'm listening to all this stuff? But the thing is, I needed to hear it. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because.
Oh, you got muted. You muted yourself. Play with that microphone a little bit. Okay, fake. Wait. No, you're muted. Okay, now you're back.
Oh, am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Can you hear my music again?
No, not. I can't hear you.
Okay, 1 second. Just bear with me. Bear with me.
Okay.
This is so annoying. Okay.
Music just
right.
starts
Can you
playing.
hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
It just starts playing. Okay, cool. What were you saying?
It's God punished. God is punishing you. That's what. All right. So.
Oh yeah. But I needed to hear this stuff because it's different people's opinions.
Right.
Oh, let me just get rid of this phone. And in a way, as Mariam Namazi says as well, like, you know, there are different views around the world. You can't stop people from believing certain things. And she goes, we need to have those uncomfortable conversations.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? That's what I'm doing. I'm doing that right now.
Yeah.
And it's good for me.
Yeah, you're brave enough to put yourself in a position to hear opinions that might be uncomfortable to hear, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You're not living in a bubble or an echo chamber. You're exposing yourself to new ideas, and that's very brave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So which is why I went to Richard Dawkins, because I saw him by himself.
Right.
And I was like, actually, I wanted to kind of air my confusion because of the fact that him and AC Graylin were like, progressive Muslims are hypocrites, and, you know, we just need to get away from the religious framework and stuff, which again makes sense, you know?
Right.
But when he was just I said, I've got a science background, and, you know, like, I've kind of balanced, I believe in evolution.
You told this to be clear, you're telling this to Richard Dawkins.
Yeah. Okay. I said this to Richard Dawkins, and so he goes, okay, he was like impressed with the fact that I believed in evolution. So then he goes, so why do you believe in a God? And I was like, he put me right on the spot, and I was like, so I said, no, but if you look around everywhere, there are patterns and designs. Right. And he's like, oh, bullshit. Like, you knew that he was not going to take any, like I just was the most dumbest person in front of him for saying that. And I felt stupid.
Oh.
Because I was like, oh my gosh, Richard Dawkins thinks that I'm so stupid. But the thing is that he did kind of walk away as well he was like, no, we're going to gang up against you. Because then people started taking pictures of us as well, because it was like, this is a historical moment of Richard Dawkins with the hijabi. And I was just like, okay, this is just getting madder and madder. But he did walk away from me. But I guess for the best interest, because like I think he felt uncomfortable, and he felt he was probably making me uncomfortable. But it was kind of interesting that it's true, because obviously he looks at everything from a purely logical, reasonable kind of point of view, whereas I'm kind of embedding my religious.
But let's take the premise of Islam, and after that, which is not logical, look at everything from a logical perspective. Okay, so if Islam is true, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm being a kind person, okay, I want to say, you know, I would be more worried about these people going to hell more than all the sufferings that they might be experiencing in this life, right? Because wars and hunger and starvation and all this stuff is very minor compared to eternal torture, right? So I'm like, forget saving people from torture, and in this world, I want to save people from the main torture, right? So I would be, if I am a Muslim, I would, my main activism would be to fight atheism. If I was, you know, I'm not saying every Muslim should do that, but I'm just saying That's what I would do if I was a Muslim, right? I would put two and two together. I would I should fight the worst evil in the world, and the worst evil in the world is anything that takes the people away from heaven and puts them into hell. And atheism is that the greatest worst, because you don't even believe in God, right? You're not even Ahlul Kitab, right? So then if somebody says like, hey, no, listen, this is not hardcore atheism. I'm going to have progressive atheism. And progressive atheism is in line with Islamic values. Right? By the way, your microphone just got muted again. Right. Say something? Nope.
Oops.
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
All right. So I said, like, you know what? We look at the Quran and we take good values from the Quran, but we are atheists. We don't believe in God. So you should accept this progressive Islamic atheism, right? I'm going to be like, no, that's bullshit, because you're still going to go to hell, right? Because you're still, it's an Islamic version of an atheism, but you guys are still going to burn forever because you don't believe in God, right? I don't care that you're picking and choosing some good values from the Quran. You're still an atheist, right? Right? So
no, you're right. Yeah. But in response to that, it's like people are still like kind of figuring it out. I kind of get, I totally get what you're saying, and I feel like even more of a hypocrite right now. But then I don't know if you heard Hassan.
Why are you feeling like a hypocrite? You are the least hypocritical person.
No, because
right.
No, in the sense that, because obviously you flipped it on the atheism side.
Right, but
try and listen to that.
Before I say anything else, you are one of the brave people that is examining new views, accepting challenges to your deeply held beliefs. You should not feel like a hypocrite. You are courageous. That you went into the lion's den. You're a Muslim that went into an atheist event, right? Okay. You are definitely not a hypocrite at all in any way. Okay, so don't stop thinking like that.
Oh. But do you remember Hassan's panel that he did? Okay, so Hassan is someone I know from Inclusive Mosque, which I remember talking to you about it, and it's like the best place in terms of quality. But this is a mosque that's a feminist mosque, and there's no segregation, and it's open to the LGBT community, and it's just like one of the most safest spaces that I've ever been to. And the khutbahs like make you feel like really like, talk about issues that are like relevant to right now and things like that. So we can vent our anger, we can do whatever. So Hassan comes to this mosque, and he paneled one of the things at the conference, and then he kind of told all the audience that he calls himself an agnostic Muslim. And so he's kind of, I think, set up this thing called the Agnostic Muslim Khutbahs blog. And he's given the most amazing khutbahs as well. I've like listened to him. He's amazing. And his Facebook statuses are like quite mad, but he makes you think a lot. Like, and especially the fact that about the Quran, he kind of really focuses on the Quran, that it's a man-made piece of literature. Like, it's got flaws in it. Okay. And in a way it's kind of like, ooh, like I like the way he defines stuff, and in a way maybe that's the label I will take as well, like, because agnostic Muslim in the sense that I know that there is something out there that's the creator. I don't know, that again, my belief, but the thing is, in terms of the book that we follow,
right,
there are some things that just don't settle with me. I don't agree with them.
Right.
But then I don't know how God's going to respond to me on the day of judgment. It's just gonna be like, do you get what I'm saying?
Got scared?
It's going to be like, No, I want to ask God though, because there are so many questions I want to ask him. Because I'm gonna be like,
isn't it frustrating that the conversation is one way, that you can't like ask questions a little bit? Like,
it's like, God, give me a sign.
well, this concern about, when I was a Muslim and I was going
Yeah,
towards leaving Islam, this was a huge concern for me. Like,
yeah,
because I could, God doesn't just see what I'm doing; He actually could
yeah,
see in my mind, and that's like,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you're kind of worried even thinking about it. Like, I'm like, oh, no, don't think about that. Like, what are you doing, right? So
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
But
it's kind of scary. But by the way, I kind of get the sense that you sometimes feel like you need to apologize for the things you believe in, right? You're like, I'm a Muslim, but, right? Don't, all
yeah,
right. If you are open minded, and you're looking at your views and challenging yourself. But while
yeah.
you believe in something, you don't need to apologize for your views. I never say to people, "I'm an atheist," but wait, no, no, I'm an atheist. Deal with it, right? So
Yeah,
don't be like, hey, I'm a Muslim. If you disagree, come tell me why you disagree. But I'm not gonna apologize for being a Muslim while I'm a Muslim. Don't apologize for it ever.
I guess you haven't been brought up in the kind of Brexit era of
No,
the
yeah.
UK in terms of we end up apologizing for everything, innit? Like for anything that goes wrong, we have to apologize.
No, you see, I kind of felt like when we were watching that documentary of those ex-Muslims being like in
Yeah.
such trouble, I felt like you kind of felt responsible a little bit, didn't you?
Well, yeah, because the thing is,
But
in a way, if people who are like who've come across this documentary for the first time, if they watch it, they're gonna be like, they are gonna label all Muslims under this umbrella. Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah, but okay, but do
And
you think
yeah.
I gotta apologize for every freaking stupid thing an atheist does because I share the same beliefs, right?
No, 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 of course we can't. Yeah, no, obviously
No,
we're individuals as well. Like,
right,
we have our own responsibilities and stuff. But the thing is that especially like what happened at London Bridge and
right,
then the Westminster incident that happened and
right.
things like that, there was a bit of a backlash in terms of they're like, oh, the Muslim community don't come out and they don't they're not doing more to tackle
Yeah, but you're
radicalization.
not. But okay, but you're not. Okay, just
Yeah,
because you share some similarities in when, like,
yeah,
for example, if tomorrow somebody
mhm,
comes and kills a whole bunch of people, right,
yeah,
and they find out the guy was an atheist, does that make
yeah.
me like have to go and say like, hey, by the way, I declared this a crime? Like, obviously, I declared a crime. Do I even have to fucking say it? Like, why? So
Yeah, yeah.
if I have a mustache and somebody with a mustache starts killing people, do I have to go say like, by the way, this guy doesn't represent all people with a mustache,
No, 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 no,
right?
but no, it's true what you're saying. However,
Right,
in Ramadan, then the Finsbury Park Mosque happened, and again, I have to say the way the media reported it was crap.
right,
They had to follow guidelines because the guy did get arrested. It was a white man who
right,
travelled from Cardiff to attack people when they came out of the mosque at Finsbury Park Mosque, right? And then the Times did a headline and said, "Oh, this guy had mental issues and he was homeless."
right.
Uh, so then why can't you give that kind of empathy
Yeah,
to people? I'm not saying again, then this is going to label me as a terrorist sympathizer because it's going to be like, but people have mental issues as well on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And
right,
so as the government of the UK, they need to do more to help people that are experiencing this kind of duality in their personality. Does that make sense?
right,
It's kind of like if it works for just white people, why can't it happen? Because I was born in London, born and bred.
right.
I'm British, you know, but sometimes I feel like a foreigner in my own country, and I don't like that. It just makes me feel awful.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, it
Yeah,
got a bit serious there.
it feels
But
no,
yeah.
it feels
So
like it
all
feels
these little things, yeah, kind of.
it feels like shit. I understand that.
Yeah.
But no, I actually don't understand that because you I haven't lived it. But what can we do? Like, what do you think? Like, okay, so here's what I think is happening,
Yeah.
right? I think because
Yeah.
people take disagreements so seriously, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Then we don't open. If we don't openly disagree, then
Yeah.
we're losing the narrative to people that are bigots. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if
Exactly.
for example, if let's say atheists and Christians and Muslims could be like get together and be like let's say, I think Christianity is bullshit, and then the Christians say, well, I think atheism is bullshit, and both of us think Islam is bullshit, and the Muslim think
Yeah.
atheism and Christianity is bullshit, and we just talk about it, and then go
Yeah.
after have like non-alcoholic drinks with each other after it, right? So
Coke for me.
yeah, right. So I think if we could just have disagreements openly without like like
Yeah.
personally fighting, then
Yeah.
because you know what, these radicals, these alt-right people and these radicals, they're using these disagreements as fuel. They're like,
Yeah.
oh,
No.
these
Of
people are
course.
wrong, let's attack them, right? So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
could like,
Yeah.
but if we could just disagree more and
Yeah.
openly disagree more, we basically like
Yeah.
hey, there's not big of a deal. This disagreement doesn't seem to be that big of an issue, right?
No.
and
No.
then and
Yeah.
then we will be basically stealing the fuel that both the radicals and the alt-right are you know
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
are using for their movements, right?
Mm.
And I think
Exactly.
the best way to do that is to not hold back on our disagreements, like go full on our disagreements, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Muslims saying, yeah, how could anybody be so stupid to be an atheist? Do you think all of this came from like just came about? And I'm like, how could anybody be a Muslim? Like, have you read the Quran? And we could just openly just challenge each other like that
Yeah. Yeah.
and still be
Yeah.
friends. And I think if we show that, there's less need for people to fight with fist and bullets because we're fighting with words. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I think that is the way forward, because if I can sit in a conference for 2 days with Muslim bashing and, and still survive, I think it's all right.
Right.
It's just that, yeah, like you said, I think people get very fueled up, and especially like you know, everyone read the thing about the Danish cartoons, and it's all that, like it's always about trying to protect the religion in terms of, oh, you know, I love the prophet more than you, and so I'm going to kill people because of that, because they disrespected the prophet, blah blah blah. But the thing is, I remember someone telling me, I don't remember who it was, I think it was, I think Dia, she told me, like, she was having a conversation with someone, and they were just kind of like, you know, oh, we need to do more for our Muslim brothers and sisters, and da 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 da, and all this stuff. And it was like, but who are you? Who gave you the responsibility to protect the other people? Does that make sense? It's just everyone feels like they've got to intervene in the Palestine-Israel issue, or, you know, all this stuff. And then the stuff that actually matters in terms of gender justice, things like that, things that are close to home, about honor killings and things like that, no one talks about this stuff. It's just, oh, no, 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 this makes us look bad as a community, blah blah blah. No, that's the most fundamental, most important thing, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
So
Well,
it's just kind of like, yeah, what, and the thing is like, who are we as humans as well to protect the religion if it's been protected for 1400 years?
well,
Why is
yeah.
it that you have to pick up the gun to protect it? It doesn't make sense.
And I think that
Yeah.
I don't like when, you know, atheists think that we have to protect our fellow atheists, or Muslims think that we have to protect our fellow Muslims, or Christians think that we have to protect our fellow Christians. Why don't we all protect each other? All, you know.
Each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
The most fundamental thing is what connects us all, humanity. That's
Yeah.
the thing. That's above everything else. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's why I just think, yeah. So if we can have a decent conversation, still get offended, but still be friends at the end of it.
Wait, so
Is that
somebody,
doable?
well, me and you are doing it. One of the audience is asking a question. She's
Yeah.
saying, can you ask Media how she would define who are moderate Muslims? How would you define a moderate? Do you say moderate or progressive? What do you use?
Yeah, no, or moderate Muslim or so for me, like my idols are like people like Amna Dude. She's done a lot about like um feminism in Islam.
Right.
And then people like Tariq Ramadan. I like some of the stuff that he says.
Okay.
So these are like the people that kind of like they kind of think about the fact that us lot as well who've been brought up with this kind of dual nationality, but also kind of adopting like we've moved to this country now as well. We've got to learn to assimilate and just kind of be part of society, really.
Yeah. So
Although our older generations, yeah, they've brought their culture here as well, and it's kind of like frozen in time. It's just here.
so here's the thing. So when people tell you that you're being a hypocrite because you're not being true to Islam, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's bullshit because who if I think Islam is evil, right, which I do, and you
yeah,
don't,
yeah,
the fact that you're not following it, in my eyes, it's a compliment to you, okay? But if I think that Islam and progressive values are incompatible, that
yeah,
doesn't mean that you are a hypocrite, because you're seeing it differently from what I'm seeing. So I see it as
hmm,
completely incompatible, but for some reason you
yeah,
don't, right?
yeah,
So even me pointing out that they're incompatible should not be seen as an attack on people that do see it.
yeah.
I'm still going to point out that I think they're incompatible, right?
Mm-mm.
Because in my
Yeah,
view,
but the thing is, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, no. And the thing is, like, you do it in a nice way. Like in the sense that, like, I mean, I don't mean to, like, again, sometimes I feel like atheists are like, when you do have conversations with them, it's just like, nah, it's my way. You've got to believe my way, or just get lost, sort of thing. And I feel like no, no, no. It's not like I totally understand it from their point of view. So then they want to give me references upon references. Oh, read this. This tells you the true account of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And yeah, he was a nice person, all this sort of stuff. And I'm kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah, just give me the references. I'll read them. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just
yeah. So what is the
we
right
got to
approach?
do it in a. I mean, again, like I will read those references that I was given, but I think we need to kind of work together in the sense that um learn to kind of agree to disagree, isn't it?
Right. Okay. So there's two
But
things. Okay, go on. I don't want to
yeah,
interrupt. Go on. Go on.
no, 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 go on. No, no, you
No,
say, you
no,
say.
but there's two different things, right? Like, let's say, for example,
Yeah,
you are fighting for women's rights, right?
yeah,
And and you want to, and I want to fight for women's rights. So we disagree on
yeah,
what Islam stands for. But since you want to fight
yeah,
for women's rights and I want to fight for women's rights, we can get it.
yeah,
We like, okay, let's fight for women's rights together, right?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
I'm
fight
for
for
that.
yeah, and you fight for gay rights, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I fight for gay rights, and I disagree with you on
yeah,
Islam, but we can fight for gay rights together, right? So,
yeah,
but the disagreement that we have on Islam, right? I think
yeah,
when I'm talking on my own platform, like on Atheist Republic or on my own podcast, I don't
yeah,
need to hold back on how much I think
yeah, yeah.
I disagree with Islam.
Mm.
But if I'm talking to you and you don't want to be lectured to, then I should shut the
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
up. Okay? Like, because it's because you don't want that you don't want that content. Like, Armin, I want I came to you because I thought we were going to fight for gay rights, right? Together. You think Islam is shit, but I don't appreciate you telling me. I don't want you to tell me right now. All right, I'm just going to tell it to my audience. But if you don't want to hear that, you should not be forced that content to, right? But I do find, but I also go and find a lot of Muslims that wants for us to go kind of head to head on Islam and atheism, right? Right? So I'm like, oh, good, like this.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So there are other Muslims that are like, no, bring it on, like, come on, like, give it to me. I'll prove you wrong that Islam is true. So those Muslims, I love them. I'm like, okay, come on, let's go on a friendly sparring together, right? So,
but the thing is, are your friends vocal? Those are things.
Which friends? Muslim friends?
The friends that are Muslim, that think along the same lines in terms of women's rights and LGBT rights.
Well, there's many okay, so Muslims are like so very different, right? So I have Muslim friends that are very conservative and not progressive at all, and don't want to talk about any of this stuff. We just know each other. And then I have progressive Muslim friends that don't want to be lectured to, but they want to be allies with you on the progressive things. And then we have Muslims that welcomed being lectured to because they want to prove you wrong, right? So they're like, tell me what your problem with Islam is, so I could correct you, right? And when you get the green light from them to tell them what's wrong with Islam, then you go at it, right? Because you're getting the green light, right? So that's okay, right? But if you feel like you're making somebody uncomfortable, it's not worth it, right? But I tell people when I'm telling people what I find wrong with Islam on Atheist Republic, I shouldn't hold back because the Muslims that see that, they're coming to Atheist Republic, right? So they are over there by choice, right? I didn't go to them and like, hey, you're stupid, this is bullshit, right? They came to Atheist Republic. Anyways, but what do you think is the right approach to? Okay, so let's say you're curious. Let's say you actually want to hear what people have problem with is. Like, why are so many people against this, right? And you don't want to be too personal, but you're interested in what they have to say. What is the right way for somebody to talk about it, in your opinion?
So I've got like two things that I want to say. Okay, so whilst you were talking, I remembered. So you know, when gay marriage was accepted in America, was that last year?
It was longer than that, but it doesn't seem that long ago.
Is it longer than that? Yeah. So there was a guy called Reza Aslan. I don't know if you've heard of him. Yeah. He does a lot of like progressive stuff as well. And he wrote an open letter to the American Muslims, right? And he kind of like, the gist of it was that he said, look, listen, obviously a lot of Muslims are going to have a lot of issues about this law that's been passed, right? But he's like, let's just kind of, again, we can have those debates and things like that. But our main concern is the fact that we have to support other minority groups.
Right.
We are a minority ourselves. And I was like, I love this guy. I love this guy. I love how he's thinking, because it's true. We need to unite, man, because it's like...
Okay, but just to let you know, a lot of people that just were listening to you, that loved you, now they don't love you anymore because they hate Reza Aslan.
Because they hate Reza Aslan. Okay, I don't. Maybe it's because I'm in the UK and he kind of said the right... Why do people hate Reza Aslan?
Because they say he's dishonest about... when he's talking about what Islam is and what Islam represents, he's being very dishonest.
Oh, really?
And he's like, and he's not like you tell me like, hey, I'm not a scholar and stuff like that. Okay, so he says I'm educated, so the people say that he doesn't have that excuse, right? He should know better. And also they don't like him because he kind of sometimes misrepresents some of his opponents. So
Okay.
and he
All
also
right.
uses the label bigot on people maybe that are not bigot. I think that's, I don't know, that's a summary of it. But it doesn't matter,
Oh,
because
okay.
even if all of that is true, you can still agree
Yeah.
with somebody on some point, even if they disagree, even if you have a lot of
Yeah.
disagreement. Yeah. So on that point, you found that
Yeah.
resonated with you.
I just loved his open letter. Yeah, his open letter to American Muslims
Right.
was just perfect in the sense that it is true. We are minorities within minorities within minorities,
Right.
and we all need to stick together.
Right. Okay.
Together, then who else can we turn to for help? Do you get what I'm saying?
Right. But so, when an atheist comes and uses the Quran, and they get to challenge you, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, but the
Yeah.
Quran, right? Do you think that do you think that's helpful or unhelpful? Do you think that's okay, or that's like just useless? What do you think in that?
Um, no, of course, like, I know, I remember we had our conversation as well, and I remember I was saying, I was like, Army man, you're making me feel like a bad person, and it's the atheist telling me stuff about the Quran. But the thing is,
Right.
to be honest, I'm not a scholar as well, and so I'm learning things every single day.
Right.
So if you point out something to me and you're like, oh, the history behind this, or something like that, you're giving me a new insight into to looking at that verse of the Quran,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Right.
So I think we can all learn off each other anyway. So your perception of it will be from an atheist point of view. You'll be like, I don't agree with this, or this is man-made, or all that sort of stuff,
Right.
or there's no logic to it, or things like that. And for me, I will have to absorb that information and just kind of be like, okay, how do I deal with this, or can I make that part of my beliefs, or do I erase it?
Right.
Like, do you get what I'm saying? This is the argument I will have to have within myself.
But do you think it's when somebody like me or somebody else comes in like, hey, you're fighting for you're helping ex-Muslims, right? You are volunteering for ex-Muslims, right? Helping them, and then like, but according to Islam, they should all be killed. So why are you helping them? Do you think somebody pointing that out is
that's not helpful.
it's not helpful?
That's not helpful, first of all. Yeah, in the sense that, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, we've gathered that. Okay, fine. If that's what the belief is that ex-Muslims will go to hell, I'll probably be joining them. Like,
they say it's not that they should go to hell, that they should be actually killed by Muslims in this life.
No, I don't agree with that.
I know you don't.
In the sense that because
of course you don't. You're a lovely person. I know you would never agree with that, right?
Anything to do with that, I think that's between the person and God. It's none of my business. It's just what you believe and what I believe. It'll be judged later on. Let's worry about this life. Let's worry about this life and the injustices that are happening. Okay. Let's sort them out.
Yeah, but this is when I say, like, people say, like, well, if you point that to Muslims that they should do this according to the Quran, they're all going to turn jihadists and going to kill us. So why would you tell them that? I don't think they're all psychopaths, and like, I don't think if I tell you, like, hey, you should have actually killed us, you could be like, okay, yeah, next time I'll see you, I'll kill you. Like, I don't think I don't think it works like that. I give Muslims more credit for them, making decisions based on their own moral. I don't think, like, so. I think, for example, my view is that you're like an awesome person, right? And you're building your own religion to match your awesome personality, right? That's what you're doing, right? So
I mean, otherwise I won't be able to live with myself.
Right.
Honestly.
But that's the media religion, that's like your religion. That's not, for me, that's not Islam.
Yeah.
And I like your religion because you're very sweet. So the religion that you made up is also very sweet, right? So, but
I know people want to kill me now.
No,
People
no,
will
don't
want to
kill
kill
her.
me
Oh,
now
no,
for
no, no,
making
don't kill.
up my
No,
own religion.
no, because that's an atheist perspective. Muslims don't listen to atheists,
Yeah.
right? What do I know, right? So, right? No, but the thing is that, but when I say that, people are like, "Who are you to tell her she's not a Muslim?" I didn't say she's not a Muslim, right? That's just my opinion that that's not Islam. But she does, but she
Yeah.
disagrees, right? So she thinks that is
Yeah,
Islam.
yeah, yeah.
So me saying that I think that's not Islam is not forcing you to think
Mm.
that is not Islam. Do you know what I mean? That is
Yeah,
just
yeah,
my
yeah,
that is in my opinion,
yeah.
you are not following Islam. But in someone else's opinion, you are a perfect example of following Islam. Because Islam is for peace and helping other people, and you're doing that, right?
Mm. Mm.
In our
Mm.
opinion,
Mm.
and I like me saying that you're not following Islam. People should understand that from my perspective, that's a compliment.
It doesn't sound right.
No, it isn't. But you have to.
Madia is a kafir.
No, see.
Oh man, you cut me up, I swear.
No, because we have to understand. You have to make this clear, right? Because you're not a kafir. Because from your perspective, you are following Islam, right? But I put myself in your shoes, and like, okay, from your perspective, this is Islam. So I'm asking Muslims to also put themselves in my shoes and see that
That's exactly, yeah.
me saying that they're not following Islam is a compliment from my perspective, right? So even though they disagree with that and say that's bullshit, this is Islam, but they should see, from my perspective, me saying that is a compliment. You understand?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's helpful or not helpful. By the way, whatever Muslim is listening to this, I'm an atheist, so so please don't call her a kafir. She's not a kafir because I'm a kafir. Like, I'm a kafir, right? What do we know? We don't even believe in God. So who are we to trust? Okay, so don't listen to me.
No, but the thing is, that's the thing. That's what I think. What brought me to volunteer for this conference was the fact that I tried to put myself in your shoes, and kind of be like I don't think I could handle, like, the violence is kind of portrayed, because in the documentary that Dia did, only one imam spoke up. I don't know. You saw the video, right? I mean, the screening. One imam spoke up and he was like, yeah, it's right that families disown their kids because they've left the religion, so obviously that basis is gone.
Right.
And my response to that is, hello, they're still your kids. Despite if that religious basis has gone.
But I kind of saw his point, though, right? Like for example, okay, let's say, for example, if I have a kid, right? If I have a daughter, right? And she all of a sudden says, vaccines cause autism, and 9/11 was an inside job, and global warming was a hoax. I love you, but I'm a little bit disappointed, right? I'm gonna be like, what the hell, right? Like, I'm gonna still love you, right? But I don't know. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck just happened, right? How did this? So I kind of agree with that imam. Like, that imam was saying, like, if my children leave Islam, I'm gonna be disappointed. Like, well, of course, because if I would say the same thing if I was Muslim, because if I think that it's stupid not to be a Muslim because God and everything and the Quran, you can't help but be disappointed if your child leaves Islam. I honestly think he was being pretty honest about it. I don't know.
No, again, yeah. But the thing is, again, I'm talking from like a British Asian perspective, like in the sense that, yeah, okay, fine, your child has revealed to you now that they're an atheist, and I think to take away that support network immediately
Right.
is wrong.
Did he say that? I think
Um,
I don't. I think he was just saying that he's just the relationship is going to be different. I don't know if he said he's
yeah,
not going to support them.
different. Yeah, no, different is fine. Like, okay, fine. Let's say no, but the thing is, a mother and father's love for their child that shouldn't diminish.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
again, it's that whole thing about learning to agree to disagree. Like your kids, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's okay. I keep telling Muslims not to take it
Yeah,
personally, but I also see that this is a little bit different for Muslims when it comes to Islam,
yeah,
because it's not that they just disagreeing, right? It's more than that.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
leaving
yeah,
it's leaving the ummah, right? I also
yeah, 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 yeah.
And it's also, they're gonna go, if you really love them, you should actually be very distressed because they're gonna burn in hell. And you're right. So I would be panic if I was a Muslim and my kid leaves
Yeah,
Islam. I would be panicking, right? Because
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to see my child burning, right?
Mm,
So that's very
yeah,
distressing, right? I think I would do everything I can to try to get them back to Islam. I think.
yeah. No, no, I get that, but the thing is, I think the harshness of it is, yeah, maybe it's a naive point of view. Like, I just want everyone to live in love and harmony.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the families, be there for support, and
Yeah.
but I know it's not all lovey-dovey. It's just,
Well, I think here's what we can do. I think like me and you and people like me and you, what we can do is come
Yeah,
together and show people
yeah,
like, look, we're friends. We don't see eye to
yeah,
eye. Why
yeah,
can't you do the same? Look, it's easy, right?
yeah,
This
yeah,
is what we could show to people. Like, I'm against Islam. I will always be against Islam.
yeah,
But
yeah,
look, but we're getting along, right?
yeah,
And why can't you do the same thing? Why can't you get along with people that you disagree with, right? Right?
yeah,
Like, and I honestly think like Muslims that fight atheism, you know, to a lot
yeah,
of them, I'm thankful. Do you know why? For two reasons. First of all, because they're trying
yeah,
to save me, which is nice. Second of
yeah,
all, it's fun to debate them because they have the balls to come and debate with me, right? Because
yeah,
most atheists and most Muslims and most atheists and most everybody don't get bored about these things at some point. But I find these fundamentalist Muslims that are evangelizing, I love them
yeah,
because they don't get bored, and I wanna have somebody to fight with and debate with,
yeah,
right? And they are there for me whenever I need it, right? But I wish I could find more
yeah,
of them that would do it, but most of them won't do it on YouTube because they are afraid that they
yeah,
might misrepresent their religion. Like they're like, I'll debate you, but
mm,
if I say something wrong, people are gonna that's gonna be a bad image of Islam. They want to make sure that they're not responsible for showing
yeah,
Islam in a
yeah,
bad
yeah,
way, right? So
yeah,
they want private debates, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, but
I don't
no,
know. I
but
mean, yeah, if we can kind of encourage these kind of debates, whether they are public or not,
right.
is the way forward.
But they
I
need to be
believe.
public because we need to show people that it's doable,
Yeah,
right?
that's the thing. We need to hijack the narrative.
Exactly. Yes. We need
Yeah,
to steal it from the radicals and the alt-right and the bigots. We're like, look,
yeah,
you can't
yeah,
use our disagreements to make us fight each other because we're disagreeing with
yeah,
each other and
yeah.
we're not fighting each other, right? That's what we're doing.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. But
yeah.
yeah, right. But
No, but I think these need to be done. Yeah,
yeah, and the best way to do that is not for people. This is what I don't like. People like, look, we don't disagree. We actually have this in common. I'm like, no, fucking disagree. But don't make don't make don't make if you make agreeing a condition for friendship, then disagreement becomes an excuse for not friendship, right?
yeah,
You have
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah.
try to always find agreements to show that we could get along. In fact, we should
Yeah.
highlight disagreements and get along, because
Yeah.
that's what we're
Yeah.
fighting with. That's what we're stealing. We're trying to show that disagreements are not against friendship. Everybody knows that agreements are not against friendship. You haven't done anything if you're highlighting agreements. You know?
Yeah. But it's funny because when you did your panel at the conference,
Right.
right? And obviously your talk was really moving. I think you had like practically everyone in tears.
Oh, wow.
And then you were like, Islam is this, Islam is that. And then I was like, oh my God. But then you came and gave me a hug afterwards, and I was like, that's the sweetest thing ever, because it was like, at the end of the day, it's like you've got your own thing, I've got my own thing, but we're cool, man. We're cool.
Yeah, we're cool.
I mean, again, I did feel a bit uncomfortable. You're like, Islam. I was like, okay. But I loved you for it, because the thing is, like, you're passionate. You're really, really passionate, and I think that's what I love about you, because it's like you're a really knowledgeable guy. You are, and like I learned a lot of you, man. Even though you're the atheist, and I'm learning stuff about the Quran from you. But yeah, and I think like if we kind of forge these like friendships. Right. Where we are able to have these debates, where we can feel uncomfortable. That's why I love Mariam. Like, yeah, she'll say it to my face. She'll be like, she goes, "You're such a harami," because, and I laugh because she's right. But the thing is, we can have a laugh and joke about it, but
right.
Oh my, this conference has really like opened my eye. Like, I met the most loveliest people, and
one of the most. Okay, you met the most loveliest people. One of the loveliest people that showed up at this conference was you. Honestly, like everybody that got to know you fell in love with you, right? And you're one of the sweetest person I've ever met. Seriously. By the way, you got muted again. No. 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 Keep playing with it. Keep fiddling with it. No. Huh. No. No. Just press the button on that thing on the microphone there. Just keep pressing it. No? Alright, it's okay. No. How about you just pull out the thing? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. I took out the headphones. I didn't need it after all then. Yeah. So, oh, you're so sweet.
You remembered what we were gonna say right before all that microphone. You just kidding.
But no, and even remember, I was saying that I saw you sign someone's book, and you still own your book.
Oh yeah. But the thing is that my book is so compelling that if you read it, you're not going to be a Muslim anymore. And then if and
you want to bet?
No, my book is too good. They can't survive that. And and the problem is that if you're not a Muslim anymore, then how can we show people that atheists and Muslims can get along? So I don't know if I want to give you my book.
Joker. No, but when I saw it, I was like, man, he's a writer. He's a writer. I need to know him. Oh. Right. But no. Yes, I think more of these conversations, uncomfortable conversations.
Yes.
Narrative.
Exactly.
From them.
All right. I'm going to give you the link to this YouTube thing. And do you have it? Oh, by the way, do you have Twitter or anything for people to follow you or anything like?
Yeah, it's Muda at Muda, MUDDA 28.
Oh, okay. I'll link to it in the comment section of the YouTube so people could come follow you. You're gonna have your own big fan base, because I know you're just a star waiting to be discovered. Seriously, like you're a great person.
But no, I mean, yeah, no, you're lovely as well. Like the fact that you can, the fact that we were able to have these conversations, and I feel like I can tell you, and I feel like I'm not judged as well. Like,
I hope so. I felt bad that you felt that I was like, when I was talking, that you felt attacked. That made me feel a little sad.
I'm just gonna wind you up after. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and more of these conferences as well, because everyone felt so united at this thing, and the moving stories that I heard. Yeah, sorry.
More of these conferences, but with more Muslims in there. I think that's what
so we can have these more uncomfortable settings.
Let's all get uncomfortable together, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Okay, so cool. I'm gonna stop this here, but let's do this more sometimes again, like more often.
Yeah, definitely. I'm up for it. Yeah,
awesome.
We can do it on themes and stuff. I'll do my research, and you're so gonna blank me, man.
All right, that's good.
In the Quran, it says this.
All right.
Isn't it? Yeah, let's do it.
All right, sounds good. All right, talk to you soon then. All right.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.